Hi, year 4. Today we're going to continue our topic on properties of materials. So properties ani, if you remember from the last video, I said properties ani artinya ciri-ciri. So how hard an object is, how soft an object is, how strong or weak an object is. That's what we learned last time. So let's recall the last video, lesson, whatever you want to call it. So it says here, how would you arrange these materials based on strength? It says start from the strongest. So as you see over here, it says the strongest. So which one would you put as strongest? Wood, fabric, or metal? And then on this end, we have the weakest. Which one would you say is the weakest antara tiga ane? The wood one, the fabric, or the metal? Okay, so if you need some time to think about it, I don't think you need to pause. You don't need to write anything. When you're ready, I'm going to start showing you the answer in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we expect the strongest, yang paling payah kan dipatahkan if kami tarik saja, it would be metal. The second strongest would be wood, and then the weakest would be fabric. So some fabric, if you know, is very easy to pull and kuyak, and yes, kuyak, break, rip. So and then metal, if you pull, you usually need a lot of strength to do that. That's why it's the strongest. Okay, so today we're going to learn about flexibility and floating or sinking. This is one topic. This is another topic. If you want to read up on the textbook, you're allowed to, okay? So, by the end of the lesson, our learning objective is to identify if a material is flexible or not flexible. So, kami lihat material atau benda atau kami tahu ya flexible kah indah. And then we're going to also identify if a material floats or sinks in water. So we're going to look at a material. Pikir, if we put it in water, ya timbul kah tenggelam? So floating artinya timbul, sink artinya tenggelam. We're talking about it in water ya. So steps to success. If a material can bend without breaking, it is flexible. So if kamu bingkukkan and then ya indah patah, flexible. If a material cannot bend without breaking, it is not flexible. So if kamu bingkukkan benda atu and then patah dia, artinya benda atu indah flexible, not flexible. So next one, if a material can stay on top of water, it floats in water. Floats on water. So benda atu dapat timbul atas air. So ya stay atas air atau indah ya ke bawah, that means it floats. And then if a material falls to the bottom of water, so ya ke bawah air atau artinya it sinks in water, or you can just say it sinks. So let's start learning about flexibility. So flexibility is how much a material can be bent without breaking. So bertapa banyak benda atu dapat dibingkok tanpa ia patah. So, if a material can bend without breaking, it is flexible. So, benda atu kiranya kamu dapat bingkokkan sampai ia punya shape jadi U terbalik, masih jua indah patah, artinya ia flexible. If it cannot bend without breaking, it is not flexible. Say kamu bingkok dia sampai maybe sani saja, udah dia ada bunyi-bunyi kan patah. So let's look at some pictures for examples. So here, so the person is pulling it sampai ke bawah, making an upside down U, and it doesn't look like it's breaking, so it is flexible. Tapi ani, this person is bending some sticks, and then if you look, he bends it until it's an upside down U, but it's breaking. So that means this wood is not flexible. So let's try talking about materials that are usually flexible. Usually ani artinya sering, tapi not always. You have to think about it first. So materials that are usually flexible are metal. So a metal, bila kamu press it into shape. So if you look at that picture, he presses it and it changes to a curve. Hindi patah and yes, it's bent. So artinya the metals are flexible. So next one, rubber. So rubber band, especially kamu main-main arah tangan, banyak kali pun indaya patah. So a rubber, such as rubber band and tires are very flexible. Fabrics. So kamu lipat selalu kamu punya baju setiap hari. Indah juga kamu nampak ya patah mengajut macam pak bila kamu lipat. So a fabric, you see this every time you fold clothes. So fabrics are very flexible. Plastics. So some plastics, not all. So ikutlah jenisnya. So like plastics in rulers, sama straws, they're very flexible. Kamu dapat bingkok, hindi patah. So materials that are usually not flexible, wood. So as I show you tadi, macam for example toothpick sama sticks biasa yang kamu dapat cari di luar, when you bend it, they break. Ceramic. So tiles, macam if you recall, ada pernah kami lihat nih, the tile, it's bent and then ada cracks di arah the tile itu. So tiles ini made of ceramic, so when they bend, they crack. Glass. Ada pernah kamu lihat orang bingkok cawan-cawan kaca ini kan? No, that's because glass is not flexible and is very easy to break. And then some plastics. So tadinya teacher some plastics, ani other plastics lagi. So macam these markers and then markers yang kamu pernah guna dalam lab teacher. Cuba kamu imagine if kamu bingkokkan. Patah ka hindi? Okay, so let's start our second topic for today. Float or sink. When we talk about float or sink, we are talking about whether materials stay on top of water, float, or falls to the bottom of the water, sink. So, float, timbul, sink, tenggelam. So for this, let's imagine, ani sudah ada. You have a stick and a rock. You also have a tub of water. So bisin aing. If you drop the stick and the rock in the tub of water, what will happen? So kamu umban kayu ani sama batu ani ke dalam aing. Apa akan berlaku? So the stick, it stays on top of the water. Stay on top of water. So ya float. If the rock, it falls to the bottom of water, sink. So it says here, the stick floats on water while the rock sinks in water. So let's talk about some materials that float on water. So like macam teacher said tadi, these are the ones yang usually sering, tapi it also depends juga. So sometimes even though it may be made of the material yang teacher cakap sini, sometimes it may float or sink juga. So most of the time, wood. Wood biasanya floats. Jarang kamu lihat wood ani tenggelam. So any item made from wood like pencils or toothpicks will float on water. Bista orang akan timbul. Some rubber. So ikutlah ya punya gatahan ni. If gatahnya nipis, like in tires, tire satu macam ya shape-nya supaya dapat ada angin sikit dalam tire itu. That's why, because the rubber is thin, the tire can float on the water. And then plastics. So ani sama macam tadi, this one really depends. So macam yang arah botol itu ada air dalamnya. So it can float on water. You can see plastic bottles floating around in rivers. Okay, now let's talk about materials that sink in water. So benda yang tenggelam dalam air. So glass usually, ceramic. So that's why some people yang ada dalam museum ada tercari pinggan at the bottom of the sea or the ocean. pasal ia sink in water. Metal, basi. But if you change the shape, metal can sometimes float. So, for example, sana ada ship batu. Ship batu mostly metal, tapi masih je ia float. That's because bis dorang ubah ia punya shape. And then rubber if it is thick. So, ani bezanya rubber macam eraser ani nada tempat supaya ada angin. That's why ia tenggelam saja. So, we can also talk about some materials that float but then sink. So, awal-awal ia timbul and then later ia tenggelam. So, fabrics. When it is not fully wet, it floats. But once it gets wet enough, it sinks. Bila ia indah basah, timbul dia. Tapi bila ia basah banar, tenggelam dia. Plastics. So some plastics, like plastic bags, when they get water on them, they sink. So plastic bag ani, air itu boleh masuk ke dalam plastic bag itu, ia tah buat ia barat and then ia masuk ke dalam air.